Massive Hyperlane news, updated Sonic airdrop guide, as well as slightly less bullish news regarding Abstract. Much more in today's video. Let's get started immediately. First things first, if you're not familiar with what DeepSeek did over the last couple of days, this has been absolutely insane news. So a bunch of Chinese engineers decided that ChatGPT is basically obsolete and they've created a better version. Essentially, they managed to train language models for just about $6 million, which is beyond crazy, considering that we've been taught to believe that training these language models through OpenAI's ChatGPT and other competitors like Bard, Gemini, and so others, they've been apparently costing billions over the last couple of years to train. So yeah, this has been an absolute ridiculous news. Of course, tech stocks, primarily Nvidia, have taken a massive beating considering they are the primary GPU producers globally, and they've been down about 20% over the last couple of days, already starting to make a slow recovery. But of course, our dear AI sector has taken a huge beating over the last couple of days. We are back down to $10 billion in market caps. But of course, this is probably just a small market correction because nothing has changed fundamentally. And generally, better technology, better products is to the benefit for all long term. So even if something is taking a huge hit in the short term, probably having better tech stack and better infrastructure is going to be very, very bullish in the long term. So of course, thesis is still not invalidated. And two super quick updates regarding Venice, for example. They have launched a successful airdrop a couple days ago, and their application is live and well on base. Currently, you can use it just as a better ChatGPT, or you can also use it as a developer to develop your own agents and third-party applications. Now, the only downside to this is, of course, that it has been launched in a slightly suboptimal time, so the price has taken a massive hit. But, of course, if you're bullish on this whole narrative and you believe that this might actually rival AI16Z or virtuals in the future, then maybe getting in around $250 million in market cap is not the worst deal out there. And speaking of virtuals, they have of course migrated to Solana and expanded to Solana specifically, which has been announced and probably priced in for quite a while. But now you can also trade virtuals token on Solana. And of course, the best place to trade anything related to AI is on Meteora. Meteora has of course paired the liquidity for virtuals token as well. But most importantly, if you are already positioned in some AI agents on Solana, it is kind of pointless to have them just sit in your wallet. You can put them to great work here, generate yield. And usually you don't even have to suffer too much in permanent loss because unless you're going to pair with Solana, which usually moves slower, you can try to find some of the better pairings. And one of the tools that I found to be very helpful is DeFi Llama's correlation matrix. This one can show you the monthly and weekly price movements of both tokens. And the closer to 1 it is, so it goes from 1 to -1, and the closer to 1 it is, the better the pairing should be in theory. One last note regarding DeFi Llama. If you believe that they might actually have a token and airdrop in the future, it is definitely worthwhile to consider using Llama Swap. This is basically an aggregator of aggregators. So every time you need to make a swap, such as, for example, on Matcha, Odos, if you're farming these airdrops, may as well just add an extra step, extra multiplier, extra Lego, and potentially qualify for something in the future. For all of airdrop strategies and in-depth guides and in real-time alpha and ability to talk with other DeFi degens in real time, we have our Discord. We talk about many strategies, and this has been the best source of information for me over the last 2 years to actually qualify for a huge amount of airdrops. If this is something that interests you, you have our subscriptions page. It is always in the first link of the description of every video, and you can find out more about this here. And finally, if you want to add an extra passive income stream to your portfolio, consider joining the 10% a month passive income stream through our DeFi wizard, Chris. He has been generating real yield through some very straightforward, simple strategies. And we also have a Telegram group where you can join to have all your questions answered in real time as well. This Telegram group is, of course, free. Now let's go into Hyperlane news and some amazing updates. So Legion token launchpad platform is going to have a public sale for Hyperlane scheduled for February 17th. This is amazing because we believe that token generation event and potentially airdrop might be just around the corner. Now, we've been covering Hyperlane for over a year now, so you should be well positioned for potential airdrop. But of course, if you want to get in a couple last unique transactions, because there's not been an announcement of official snapshot yet being taken, then you can consider this new interaction that has to do with superposition. Superposition is basically an Arbitrum layer 3 with a couple of new applications over there, and basically you can just bridge into there through Arbitrum using their official bridge, which is always recommended. Personally, I'm not very bullish on the superposition airdrop per se, but of course unique Hyperlane interaction is always welcome. So you can use the official bridge, and this is basically done through Arbitrum. Thank God we don't have to use Ethereum. Alternatively, you can also go with Relay. Relay is of course the go-to bridge if you need to go from anywhere to literally anywhere. And once you have your funds in superposition, you can explore some of the mainnet applications. Of course, these are kind of speculative and maybe a little bit risky, but of course the first DEX was launched and it is long tail AMM. This one also has a points program, so again, this is a potential 2-in-1, but again, primarily this is a Hyperlane interaction, so don't go bridging like thousands of dollars or tens of thousands because this is risky and speculative. Other than just swapping, you can also provide liquidity, but they call it staking. So I really hope that they're not completely illiterate and they're just trying to address maybe a centralized exchange user who knows what staking is, but they don't know what liquidity provision is. So yeah, hopefully this is not a red flag. Anyway, in other news regarding Abstract, they have launched, and apparently the launch was not ideal because it was a lot of congestion and a lot of issues. However, this has potentially created a buying opportunity because both Pudgy Penguins and Pengu token are at an all-time low. So of course, this is going to be a little more risky, a little more speculative, but it is confirmed that Pudgy Penguin holders and Pengu holders, depending how much you hold, if you have 8K, 8,000, 8 million, you're going to be receiving a certain amount of Abstract token airdrops in the future. So if you believe that this is going to be big, maybe from the gaming side of things or NFT side of things, maybe getting some of these valuable assets at a discount from 18 ETH now down to around 12 ETH for Pudgy Penguins. And of course, Pengu token is almost out of top 100. It is currently trading about 1.6 cents. Not financial advice, do your own research, but if you want to speculate on Abstract Airdrop actually delivering, this is the time to actually buy these assets. All right, let's jump into Sonic. As you know, they're distributing 200 million S tokens over the course of 1 year. And if you can see, the token price action has been really, really bad over the last couple of weeks because Phantom, even though it has broken $1 a couple of weeks ago, it has been down only since then. And currently it's trading about 46 cents. So if you're bullish on the ecosystem, you believe that it's going to make a comeback. Currently, this value is about $100 million, but it is probably going to be much higher as bull market hits up. So what are the ways to qualify for this? You have three strategies, basically. First of all is to simply hold whitelisted assets into your wallet directly. Alternatively, you can also put them to work in some of the applications on Sonic, and we're going to talk about which ones very soon. This is going to generate, of course, a little bit more because using something with your assets is always recommended. And finally, there's also going to be something called gems, and these are actually going to be from specific projects. When they get allocations from token airdrop, then they will actually distribute this to their users. So this is always a bit of a dilemma, how much risk you're going to take, because of course on DeFi Llama you have total value locked on Sonic about 250 million, but most of it is in the, of course, most reputable dApps such as Silo or maybe WAGMI or Avalon or Beats. But of course, more people are going to be using these, hence higher TVL. So it always depends on your risk tolerance, which project, how lower down the risk curve you're going to be actually farming. And looking at which exactly whitelisted assets there are, we have, of course, stablecoins, we have Sonic, ETH, and BTC, all giving different multipliers. And these multipliers and boosters are actually only going to last for about 3 months to incentivize liquidity on Sonic, after which the team may or may not extend these boosted periods. Now, regarding the performance of token itself, we can see that it's also listed on Binance, but still not on Coinbase. So potentially, if there's going to be a Coinbase listing in the future, this could be a catalyst. Now, regarding the specific dApps we're going to be using, we're going to only focus, of course, on the top 10 because we want to make sure that we don't get into some random rug or scam, which of course can always happen in crypto, but we at least have to play our bets accordingly. So knowing all this, what are some of the dApps we can use? So from the risk to reward perspective, maybe the best ratio is with WAGMI. WAGMI is a multi-chain DEX live on Sonic since December, and they have some very attractive yields. And primarily, I'm looking at Anon and WAGMI pairs. If you are familiar with DeFi AI sector, this has been one of the absolute incredible performers over the last couple of weeks, and they are relatively correlated pairs for about 75% APR. Nothing special, but if you want some exposure to this sector and potentially maybe the best correlated pairs on Sonic using and farming the Sonic airdrop, this might be one of the plays to make. And another DEX on Sonic, which is slightly more on the risky side of things because it only has about 7 million in total value locked, but it is a Sonic native first DEX. It is Shadow, and this one actually has some remarkable yields. For example, it is giving on S and ETH pairing, it is giving out 2,600% APR. Just keep in mind that it is very inflationary because it is paid out in X Shadow. So it is in Shadow token, which you can then vest for a certain period of time. The volumes are strong, and if this UI dashboard is actually not still updated and up to date, this could be an incredible opportunity because even though they already have a token, there's going to be a lot of potentially gems generated through this one, Sonic gems, because it is a lot less utilized than some of the other slightly more safer dApps. Speaking of slightly safer dApps, we have Silo Labs. This is actually, if I remember correctly, the highest total value locked on Sonic. So this is probably going to be the most diluted one, but it is at least launching their version 2. And here you don't really still have all of the dashboards properly showing because it is only launched a couple days ago, the version 2, but here you can already look some stablecoins, so you can generate 16% on your deposit on stablecoin, and you can borrow against it for just 4.4%, and currently it has about 48 million in total value locked, so these numbers are actually probably still very, very good. And finally, there's also Avalon Finance. They have an airdrop very, very soon. So if you want to maybe speculate on their airdrop being worthwhile, you can take slightly lower yields. For example, this is only giving you 1.48 supply APY, and you can borrow against it for 3.69 borrow APR. But again, this is mostly the airdrop angle because if you've been farming Avalon maybe on some of the other chains across the years, make sure to absolutely, definitely register for their airdrop because if you don't register your receiving wallet, then it will all be for nothing. So make sure to do so before the timer expires. And finally, the last bullish case for Sonic is the fact that we might have a very, very similar ratio of total value locked on chain compared to all incentives that we're going to receive over 1 year. Steven from DeFi Dojo has made a great thread regarding all of these maths in specific numbers. So even though the numbers are slightly worse now we have about 250 million in total value locked and the Sonic price is about 45 cents. So these numbers are slightly worse now than the time of writing, but this is probably all going to fluctuate. And if anything, if you're bullish on Sonic, you're definitely getting a better entry into the ecosystem. Last but not the least, there is a very interesting hyperliquid opportunity alongside with Kinto. Kinto is an airdrop that should be just around the corner, but if you want to use a hyperliquid UI using Kinto, then you can go on the Engen website, and here, unfortunately, you will need to do a KYC, much like with GRVT, but it is an underfarmed airdrop opportunity, and you will need to use a lot of volume because the main Kinto airdrop is probably just around the corner. And that is a wrap for all the airdrop topics and DeFi updates for today. If you like the content, make sure to like and subscribe with bell notifications on. If you have any questions or comments, drop them in the comment section below. And if you want to make the most out of your airdrop and crypto journey, we are waiting for you in our Discord. Thanks for watching. Till next time, have an amazing day.